I really love spending time in a natural world. I wake up some mornings and it calls to me. I feel like my lungs will collapse if I don't go outside and take a deep breath. Some days I go for a walk and I'm barely aware of the world around me. My mind runs along its usual channels, and before I know it, I'm back at the car or walking in the door of my house. But on other days, something amazing happens. I'm walking along and all of a sudden I notice a tree. I really notice it, and it's like a revelation. A deep peace surrounds me and goes deep into my soul. Or some days I'm sitting in a secluded spot and I realize I'm no different from that rock or that tree or that blade of grass. Everything feels right in the world. I become aware of the presence of nature as a whole. You see, I think that nature is not just a collection of trees and rocks and animals, but is a presence unto herself, and we are all part of it. You can call it God if you believe, or you can call it Mother Nature or spirituality or any other name you want to call it. You feel that presence. I've come to think of these moments of connection and peace as accidental encounters with nature. I read that somewhere one time. And that is inside all of us. The nature that we forget is there. Because we have become so disconnected, we feel nature is something outside of ourselves, something you have to go to look for. So when I feel like that, it really is a profound experience. Most of us never go further than the fact that we know we love nature, we know how we feel great in nature, and we spend time in nature. But we don't know how to really connect with nature in an intentional way. But there is so much more. These accidental encounters with nature are just the beginning. It's a call from within our soul to discover your own true nature. I know this to be a fact because after a few of these connections, my life completely changed when I needed it to change the most. It was a time in my life when I was in tremendous pain. I was newly divorced and a single mom of two girls, and I had to learn or relearn everything. It was very overwhelming. I honestly felt like a tiny little person with the world on my shoulders. Everything was dark and everything was empty. Eventually, I realized that this could never be filled by another person. Unintentionally, because I had growing girls that had to be outside with me, I found my way to nature. I began to spend time in nature and consciously connect with it. Nature became my spiritual path. I learned that I am nature. I am a part of this universe. I am never truly alone, and that despite life's ups and downs, it's possible to live with a deep joy. Here are some tips I can give you on how to connect on a deeper level with nature. Make a commitment to connect with nature. You don't need to go into the deepest and most secluded wilderness to experience all the benefits of a nature connection. Nature is really just one part of the equation. The other part is you. Many people believe that in order to have a profound experience in nature, they need to spend lots of time in the most beautiful places on earth. This is a mistake. All you actually need is a simple lawn or a local park. Your goal is simply to be aware of what's happening around you, wherever you are. Take in the sights and the sounds to the fullest extent of your ability. Watch, look, listen, tune in. Find a place where you can close your eyes so that you can focus and feel and listen to your surrounding. This doesn't need to be a complicated process, and you don't need a perfect place because all of nature is perfect. I tend to walk on the trail until I see an area or a feature that I'm drawn to, and then I head for it. If you focus on engaging more genuinely in any natural setting, you will immediately start to feel the effects. The second tip I can give you is to create time alone in nature. When we're with other people, we tend to talk to each other. Silences are experienced as uncomfortable. We're also concerned about what people think of us. So we edit ourselves to ensure we're behaving according to social conventions. And women and girls in particular are taught to focus on what other people are feeling and to take care of them at the expense of being aware of your own authentic experience. All of these social patterns make it difficult to connect with nature. That's why I've found that communicating with nature works best when you're alone. It's not as hard as you might think to create solitary experiences in nature. You don't have to go so far away from others, and you certainly shouldn't put yourself in danger where you're alone that somebody can harm you. It can even be time spent in your garden or in your local park or in a forest where other people are walking by. And finally, my advice would be to learn to communicate. This is where it might get weird or exciting, depending on how you look at it. While many may believe that humans have souls or spirits and animals do not, and certainly we understand as well that trees and rocks and flowers and the river cannot talk back to us, and that we can't communicate with them on a level like we do with humans, I have to honestly say I don't believe this entirely. I really think we can have a spiritual connection to nature. I think we can touch leaves and trees and feel their nature. I believe we can look into the eyes of animals and make a connection with them. I believe we can listen quietly to the sounds of the wind or the rain or the sounds of the forest and feel nature through our cores. It's that feeling you get when you help a spider escape instead of crushing it, or walk by a dandelion and don't pick it up, but simply just let it be. A sense of peace envelops you as you interact with nature in this way. It can be hard to hear nature in this way, but it gets easier with practice. The rewards are worth it. When I communicate with individual elements in nature in this way, such as a tree or a flower or a river or even a rock, you pick it up and you turn it around in your hand, you feel the coolness. I am then more easily able to sense and to communicate with and belong to nature as a whole. And that's why I go to nature, for that connection.